Bloody hell, it only took me an hour to film it. I mean, I couldn't even sit up and do that for long enough. I've got a bad back. I could not be doing such things. Oh, that's a good. I'm looking for something to smack myself with. There's not much inspiration. And this camera is trying to frame my face. So like, no matter where I go, there's a square. You need a bigger square to frame my face, mate. Have you seen my forehead? There's a lot going on there. No. Why can't I be like the cute girls who just look cute all the time? But do you know what, Huns? You've got to pay the bills. Who am I kidding? I'm not making any fucking money off of this drivel. I'm not making money off of this. Nobody would pay me. Hello, beautiful angels. So today I thought I would film a video all about stress. Stress. Do you know what? I'm actually in a really good place at the moment, but last week, slightly on the edge, not gonna lie. And I thought, do you know what? If it's in one of us, it's in every single one of us, meaning that we all go through it from time to time. And I cannot even name you one person that I have spoken to recently who feels absolutely amazing. We're all drowning slightly. I love doing videos about things that we all go through, so I'm really hoping you guys love this. So I'm going to quickly share with you guys what I've been learning this week. Have you guys heard of the vagus nerve? I feel like it's all over the internet at the moment. We're learning more and more now that we're so much more capable of helping ourselves and stimulating different things in our bodies. That's what she said. So our bodies actually have their own built-in de-stressing mechanism called the vagus nerve. So when it's activated, your body enters a state of rest, which obviously allows us to sleep well, and it helps digestion, reduces stress and anxiety, and it also helps to decrease inflammation, which again is really important because inflammation in the body is literally a little monkey. It triggers all sorts of stuff. So obviously with all of that said, we want to stimulate the vagus nerve as much as possible, and to be honest with you guys, I did not realise it was so easy to do it. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier on, it's so easy to change a state. So you can be in a really bad mood, and if you actually get up and allow yourself the chance to change it, 99.9% of the time you will be able to. And I love learning about the body because I think it's so interesting to know that you can feel one way and then you'll do a couple of things and you can feel totally different. And I think that when we're aware of all of this stuff, it gives us the power in our hands to make changes. Like, we all know that when you're feeling down and sad and depressed, your brain will literally tell you to just stay where you are because it wants to keep you stuck. That is why when you're feeling really low, it's so difficult to get up and do things, because your brain is literally telling you, oh, don't do that, like, don't go for that walk, don't go out with your friends. So some of the ways that you can stimulate the vagus nerve is things like singing, laughing, going for a cold shower, yoga, meditation, affirmations. So I'm going to share with you guys some things that I do to make myself feel better. It kind of starts with 3 main things and then it goes off into actual, like, actionable things that I do. So the first thing is I take a step back, and I think this is so important when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, because when you're in the moment and you're feeling those things, it's so difficult to get yourself out of it because you're literally like this, like you feel like you're locked into that stress and there's nothing you can do to change it. But I'm here to tell you there is so many different things you can do. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a miracle worker, but I think you've got to do something. There's no use just sitting down and ignoring it. We've got to be proactive. So like I said, the first thing I do is take a step back, and this is actually called metacognition. When you just take a step back, what you do is you allow yourself the time to just get out of the way. Does that make sense? Like, when you're in it, you can't think straight, you can't think clearly, you can't see a way out. But when you just take a step back, put everything down, if you go outside, whatever you do, like, just take that time away from it all, and that just allows you to see where you're at, where you want to go next, and it just gives you a little bit of breathing space. So literally the first thing I do when I'm feeling a little bit stressed is I put everything down and I just sit outside, or literally just sit by myself and think, and just allow myself to feel the feelings, but don't allow them to consume me. I think it's really important to feel the feelings. Kind of along the same lines of that, I usually get a piece of paper and I split it into 3 columns. I think I've spoken about this before on my podcast, but I split it into 3 different sections. I usually do this on my whiteboard or a bit of paper, but I just split it into 3, and on the one column, the left hand column, I write urgent, the middle one is important, and the third one is not important. And the reason I do this is because in my head it's just so busy all of the time, and it's hard for me to see what is a priority. Urgent things would be something like going to an emergency doctor's appointment, phoning the bank because you've got an email or like notification about fraud on your account, like little tasks that you need to do that are really, really important, and they need to be done like quickly. So the middle column is important, and again, important is kind of difficult because they need to be done but they're not like a major priority right now. And then the third column would be not that important, so I don't even know for this one. Like for me it would be something like post a letter that you've got a week to do, or fill a form in that you've got like 2 weeks to do, or buy something from Amazon that's like just something you want. Like, do you know what I mean? Like something that you want to do but it's not like a major need to do this right now thing. So for me, when I split it into 3 categories, I can then go, right, okay, I'll do all of the urgent tasks today or by tomorrow, and then I can move on to important, then I can move on to not that important. And it just helps me break things down because I've got quite a simple mind. Like I like to simplify everything. If things are too complicated for me, I'm out. Like my brain's just gone and not interested. So I find that doing that little task is so beneficial for me. So the last thing I do kind of breaks into lots of different other things. So it's basically creating a stress relief toolkit. And I know that sounds a little bit woo-woo, but it literally does what it says on the tin. So it's literally a toolkit, not a physical toolkit like what a builder would have. Honestly, I love this idea because anytime that you're taking time for you signals to yourself that you care about yourself and that you matter and that you're important. And I say all the time, feel your feelings, and I think it's so important to do that. But sometimes I feel like, do we dwell in that too much? Like, do we just think, I'm having a bad day, fuck it, like I can't do anything? I really believe in feeling your feelings, but doing it as much as you can to actually make yourself feel better. And I think sometimes we kind of get lost a little bit in the feelings and we don't know what to do. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with sitting down for a whole day and just being like, this is crap, and maybe feeling a little bit sorry for yourself. I think you need that time, but equally I think you've got to be proactive. One of my favourite things to do is to have a bath. I don't know what it is about the water, really warm water that's got bubbles in it, and I'm listening to like meditation music or just watching a YouTube video. I try a lot of the time to take my phone in and to do things that I need to do, like usually when the baby's in bed is when I do all this stuff, so my brain's like literally like fireworks. You need to do that, you need to do that, blah 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 blah, like all of this stuff. So I give myself like 20 minutes of like searching and buying things I need to buy and sorting things out and like making lists or whatever. I give myself a little bit of time and then I put my phone down, put my music on and just chill out. And I don't know what it is about water, but it heals my body. I feel like I'm a water baby. So yeah, the first thing I do, have a bath. Obviously it's not the first thing I do, but like one of the most important things. So I love that. I love to journal. By the way, I spoke about all these things on my podcast. I used to journal on my phone, but what I found with that is I love to literally write it down, rip it up and burn it, because when I burn it, it makes me feel like I'm getting rid of that shit. Getting rid of it. Whereas on my phone it's in amongst all different notes, and when I go into my notes section I've got like 200, so I'm like sometimes it can just feel a little bit much. So I do like to write it on paper, literally write everything out and then burn it, and the burning part just makes me feel like I've got rid of that. And I think that's really important, to write your feelings out and even just burn it, because when you do that, it's kind of like a placebo effect for me, where it just feels like, that's the way then, bye, have a nice life. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they're kind of the same thing for me, because when I am meditating, by the way, I just literally lie on my bed with my eyes closed, a blanket on, and I just listen to it. I don't do any of this carry on. Like, if that's for you, cool. It's just not my kind of thing. I mean, I couldn't even sit up and do that for long enough. I've got a bad back. I could not be doing such things. And when I'm in that state of being relaxed, everything just melts away. Like, all the stress melts away from me. Maybe not all of the stress, like 90% of it melts away, and I find it so useful. So if you've never tried meditating or breathing deeply, really recommend it. Breathing deeply is just so helpful for me, and there's actually science that shows if you breathe, so if you breathe in for 3, hold it for 4, and then breathe out for like 5 or 6, you actually de-stress your body. Like, it helps so much. And you kind of reset your nervous system. So breathing deeply is really, really important. I also love gratitude and affirmations. I'm kind of putting them together because they come hand in hand for me. So I love expressing gratitude. I write it down in my journal. Sometimes I just think it in my head, and the same thing with affirmations. For me, when I started affirmations, probably like 3 years ago, I want to say, I just found that it changed everything for me in terms of, I don't really feel like I had a great relationship with me, because I didn't really have like high confidence or high self-esteem because of how I was feeling back then. But I started doing affirmations, and let me tell you something, when you're doing them, you feel like you're lying to yourself. So I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I can face whatever I need to face today, I can achieve anything I want, I will achieve my dreams, like all of this really cheesy stuff. I naturally, when I was doing them, felt like I was lying to myself, but now I literally just think that all day. Does that make sense? Like, if I wake up in the morning, I'm like, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful. Like, I don't even need to put any effort into it anymore, because that's how I feel about myself now. And I'm so proud that I've got to this place, because it's not easy. Let me tell you, it's not easy to go through life and feel bad about yourself and try to change it. It's a journey, it's a struggle, but if you want it bad enough, you will get there. And now, 3 years on, I'm good to myself. I treat myself with respect, and I love myself, and I love other people. And let me tell you something, this is really, really important for me to mention. Just because you think highly of yourself doesn't mean everyone else is a piece of shit. So when I'm like, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I'm a sensational woman, I can do anything, that does not mean that I look at other people like they're crap. I just wanted to say that, because I can't remember where it was, if it was like a YouTube video or like a podcast or something, or like even just online, like a video on TikTok, I can't remember where it was, but someone was on there basically having a rant at people who are confident within themselves. And I just thought, do you know what? You feeling negatively about someone who loves themselves is never, ever, ever going to make you feel good about yourself. It's just not. But yeah, I just love affirmations and gratitude as well. I think it's so important to be grateful for what you've got, because if you're not grateful for what you've got now, you will never ever be grateful for what you get later on down the line. You could literally win £1 million, but if you're not grateful for having £20 in your bank account, you'll never be grateful for the million. Another thing I like to do, go for a walk. There's just something about being in nature for me that makes me feel so much better. Another thing, dancing around the house to Beyonce. Does anyone else do that, or is it just me? Bloody love her, and I bloody love dancing. That's that. I really love to sleep. Sometimes I'm like a 5 or 6 hour a night type of gal, which is really, really bad, but I feel like I'm making sacrifices at the moment. I'm trying so hard to build my YouTube, so hard to build my podcast, and sometimes the sleep department does suffer a little bit, but do you know what? I'm trying to be better and to be a little bit more organised. And yeah, I just find that when I'm feeling a little bit stressed, like last night for example, I went to bed early. I think it was like 10:30 I was sleeping by, and then today I woke up at 7:15, which for me is a bit of a lie-in. Sometimes I'm up at like 4, 5, 6. So yeah, I really do find that sleeping is so helpful for me when I'm feeling a little bit stressed, just to get that good recovery in, because like I said earlier on, our bodies repair when they're sleeping, and when you're not sleeping for long, your body does naturally start to like weaken because you're just so tired, and yeah, that's just how it kind of goes. Another thing is I put my phone away. Sometimes, like I mentioned earlier on, things are just all the time. So putting my phone away kind of makes me feel disconnected from the world, but in a good way. Sometimes I think we can be too connected when we're always online, always on YouTube, always on Instagram, TikTok, blah, blah, blah. So by me putting my phone away, it just helps me to feel a little bit clearer, which is obviously great. I always make sure when I'm feeling down to talk to friends and family, even if it's just a little message asking them how they are, not telling them how I feel. When we're feeling stressed or down or depressed, any of that stuff, we naturally pull back from everyone because we're just not capable of being in it at that moment in time. I was actually listening to a podcast about this the other day, and they were saying that when you're low, or when you've got friends that talk to you all the time and all of a sudden they just disappear, it's because they're struggling. And when you're struggling, you don't have it in you to keep up with everyone because you're just so overwhelmed and exhausted. So I think it's really important for me when I'm feeling a little bit down to just message someone, even if it's one person, and I don't tell them what I'm going through. I think it's just really important to reach out to someone, because humans are wired for connection. Like, we're meant to be connected to other people, and we feel at our best when we're surrounded by people, even if in the moment or after whatever we're doing is finished and we feel completely like, okay, I don't want any more social interaction today. Like, it's just so important for us to have that. It's so good for us because naturally we were in a tribe, weren't we? So yeah, I feel better when I speak to people. And lastly, one of the other things I wanted to share is doing something for me. I find it so beneficial to just take time for me. Obviously, like I said, I'm a mum, I've got 2 jobs, I've got my podcast, I've got my YouTube, keeping up with the house, like it just all seems very consuming a lot of the time, probably the same as you guys. So for me, just taking that little bit of time where I'm not running about changing nappies, I'm not making meals, I'm not making snacks, I'm not going here, there and everywhere trying to get the shopping in. It could be going to my singing lesson, it could be doing all of my editing, it could be going for a bath like I said, it could be painting my nails, could be reading a book or listening to a book. Just something that's easy to do. Sometimes it could be getting a haircut, get a massage, like anything that makes you feel better and that makes you feel like you're taking time for you. This one is all about you building you up, so anything that you love to do that makes you feel better, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It could literally be like anything that's free. And honestly, like I said, I think it's so important to just give yourself that time. You don't always have to run about after everyone else. It's so okay for you to give back to you, and it's so important, it's so needed, and I actually think it's a priority. There is no point building everyone else up, having the cleanest house, having amazing kids, having an amazing relationship if you don't ever take time for you to make yourself feel better. You're so important, you're so needed, and I really believe that in order for us to be great and for us to be our best self, we've got to feed into ourselves. And to be honest, I think that is why I have been struggling a little bit, because I've just felt like I've been give to everyone and I've not really taken for myself. And I've learned that recently, and I think that's why I'm in a better place this week, because I've just had to put things down and I've had to be like, you need time for you. So my little loves, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm looking at the camera right now and I'm looking a little bit blurry because of the lighting. I hope this video has been okay. I hope and pray. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. I honestly love when I get a little comment on my video. To be honest, don't get many of them. So please come and talk to your girl, because I'm lonely. I need you to be my friend. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you soon.